Hello and welcome back to the Formula 1 chat. Today we're going to be talking about Mick Schumacher. We're also going to be addressing Latifi and the fact he's not going to be on the grid next year, and we're probably going to mention Yuki Tsunoda as well. But yeah, we'll start with Mick Schumacher. He's going to be in the title, he's going to be in the thumbnail. Do you think his performances have merited him a spot on next year's Formula 1 grid?
No.
Interesting. Give me some reasons.
He hasn't been very good. He's shown signs of promise. He's scored his first points, but I don't know. He hasn't been great. Obviously, first year, don't take away from the Haas was absolute crap.
Yeah, but the first thing you always compare,
flying Russian machine.
The first thing you always compare a driver against is their teammate, of course.
Can't compare him to Mazepin.
Outperformed Mazepin massively. Look, Nikita was never a Formula 1 quality driver.
He was a Formula 2 quality driver.
Well, he was. He did very well in Formula 2. And then Kevin Magnussen. Magnussen's had bigger highs, but I'd say he's also had bigger lows this season.
Yeah, I mean, the last few races, they've both been down in the middle of the bottom.
But he's been able to outperform him at times, I'd say. He's been able to outscore him. I don't think he's merited a place on next year's grid, though.
No, I don't think he's been good enough. He needed a statement after last year's absolute... It was crazy last year, that whole Ural-Cali business, Mazepin, Haas in the mud, Schumacher thing.
Well, I think Mick's just hit F1 at sort of the wrong time. There's no team for him.
No.
And
I think you've got something. Obviously, Piastri's got to come into the grid this year. You've got exceptional drivers leaving, exceptional drivers joining.
Maybe came for a few years ago. Then you look at Alfa Romeo, you look at Haas, and they're teams that had that Ferrari seat Alfa Romeo had, didn't they? If you think back to the likes of Charles Leclerc, Marcus Ericsson, they're drivers that Ferrari had a seat at that team, and they put a driver in it. So you'd probably have him nailed on there. But
he's left the
FDA. Yeah, he has left that now as well. After Antonio Giovinazzi left Alfa Romeo, seemingly that Ferrari seat doesn't exist anymore. So it seems that Ferrari have nowhere to put their young talent. So unless they get a gig somewhere else, they're not really getting a spot. I don't think Haas will keep him around. Haas are a team that need money. They need big results. They can't afford to have a young driver. They literally cannot afford. They don't have enough money to keep buying new parts when Mick bins it.
I really like Mick, but obviously Formula 1 is the pinnacle of motorsport. It is the grid for the 20 best drivers in the world. I don't think Mick Schumacher is one of them. I think, I think we're starting to see it become the best 20 drivers in the world. We're starting to see the likes of Latifi lead the grid.
But he's also been given a shot. I mean, you look at the drivers in and around the conversation at the moment. Nick De Vries, Jack Doohan, Logan Sargent. Drivers that deserve a shot in Formula 1. They're not getting one yet. And Mick has had 2 years to show what he's worth. I don't know. I don't think any team is going to invest any more time in Mick Schumacher. Because you could argue maybe Williams, but they've already got a young driver in Alex Albon. If they were going to bring in a young driver, would it not make more sense to bring in Logan Sargent or Jack Doohan and get a bit of money from Alpine?
I think it really depends how much that Schumacher name holds.
I don't think teams are going to look at that and care, because it doesn't bring in loads in advertising. He's not like in football. If you buy a Neymar or something, even if he doesn't play well, you're going to get that merch money. But they will sell merch from most drivers.
Yeah.
But currently in the conversation for the Haas seat, we'll talk about a few alternatives to Mick. Nico Hülkenberg.
That genuinely, Magnussen and Hülkenberg. Oh, that's brilliant.
I do think it fits into the same category of why, though. Because, I know he's a safe pair of hands, and he won't crash it as much as Mick does. He won't cause as much damage to the car, and that's not going to cost them as much money. So, in that regard, I get it. But with so much talent around, I don't think bringing Nico Hülkenberg, I think it would be negative to a lot of Formula 2 drivers, but it would probably benefit Haas.
Do Haas wait to have a year with either Hülkenberg or still Schumacher, and then next year, the year after that, do they bring in Enzo Fittipaldi?
Why Enzo Fittipaldi?
Isn't he Haas?
No.
Who's the Haas bloke?
Pietro Fittipaldi.
Okay, don't bring him
Different bloke.
Do not bring him in, he's rubbish.
Bring in Enzo Fittipaldi's a good driver, but he's not currently signed to a team. I'm surprised Haas didn't bring in Felipe Drugovich. I have to say, American, Brazil, that you've got that link there. You know that already
I mean,
two
also
nations that have
quick
dominated
on
in
the-
motorsport in the past.
On the top of Dragovic, I mean, Aston Martin are sorted for next year. When if Alonso does, because that's what Alonso's going to do a maximum of 2 years.
I don't know, he could do 3. And then Dragovic goes into C. I don't know if he'd be happy with that, but I do think they could get him, Aston could get him a seat at Williams or something like that. If
Maybe,
Alex Albon gets to step up.
But obviously, I mean, there is a spare seat at Williams.
That's not, I think that's going to Nick de Vries.
If
he doesn't go to Alpine. If not, I think they might get Jack Doohan or Logan Sargent.
Obviously, it's sad to see Nick Latifi go. He was never good enough. But
We've jumped from Schumacher here because I've got someone else with Haas, and then we'll get on to the Latifi and stuff. But Antonio Giovinazzi, what would you think of him returning
He
to
just
Formula
wasn't
One?
very good anyway.
He was a very average driver, but he was a consistent point scorer. He is a safer pair of hands than Mick. Does it make sense for just a year for Haas to go and bring in Antonio Giovinazzi?
Well, I think then Antonio doesn't have a career in Formula E.
I don't think he does anyway at the
Very
moment.
true.
Did you see him last
Very
season?
true.
I know that wasn't really his fault.
The
Dragon is not a racing car. That is just a glorified go-kart.
So there's options for Haas. I think Williams, as you said, nailed on with De Vries, now that Latifi's.
I don't think they're nailed on with De Vries.
I think they
Alpine are still sniffing around Nick De Vries. I think
De Vries has got his Sargent.
I think they'd be more likely to go and get Doohan than Sargent. But it depends on where they finish in the championship. If Logan Sargent doesn't finish top 6, he won't get enough super license points.
Oh wow.
So therefore he can't get promoted. So basically that Abu Dhabi result does hold a lot of weight, because if it goes very wrong for Sargent and Doohan, Lawson, Iwasa all outscore him, and say a Darivala, someone like that, then he will be outside the top 6 and he won't score enough super license points to be able to go into Formula 1.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on Logan Sargent going into the last round
Which would
with
mean,
a Williams seat potentially in the balance.
He can't. Actually, I think obviously Snowden now staying at AlphaTauri for next year.
Yeah.
Gasly, I think, might stay put. I think it would make more sense for Alpine to bring in a Doohan or De Vries than Gasly. I think it would make more sense for Williams to bring in a De Vries or Doohan instead of Gasly.
Seemingly Nick De Vries could also be in line for the AlphaTauri seat as well. There's an option there, so if Gasly was to go to Alpine,
Well, I think if
Nick could be the driver to replace him.
Anyone like Lawson, Hauser, Daruvala.
I don't think that's a massive problem.
Right.
I would say the next best talent for Red Bull is either Isaac Hadjar or Jack Crawford. I look at Iwasa, lots of raw pace there, but too error prone at the moment. Maybe if he performs very well next year, he could take that seat from Yuki Tsunoda. But Lawson, I don't think is good enough, unfortunately. And then Dennis Hauger's done nothing in the best team Prema, and Daruvala's seemingly done as well. I mean, he has had years in Formula 3. It's his 3rd season. You have to win it in your 3rd. If not, you're done pretty much. Most drivers win it in their 2nd and then go up to Formula 1 and stuff. But
I think Hadjar looks. Even see what Hadjar does, because Hadjar could just do what Hauger's done in Formula 2. Same with Crawford. It'll be interesting to see how those two cope. I mean, it looks like those two are in the same team next year, but that's a topic for another day.
I was going to say, so try and keep some structure. Haas, just to round that one off, who do you think should be in the Haas seat next season?
Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
I think that's just me wanting to see Nico Hulkenberg.
Also, imagine Madison and Hulkenberg together.
That'd be great.
It's like my balls, mate. That moment was brilliant. And then they, link up together. That would be great. And then, I don't really know if there's any other options. I don't think they're going to go and get like a Colton Herta or something. I mean, he's not getting a super license.
And I think
bypass.
Yeah, and then I think it'll be between Alpine and Williams over De Vries, Doohan, Sargent.
Fair enough. Where does that leave Daniel Ricciardo? Is it unfortunately out of F1? Because I don't look at Haas and Williams and think they've got enough money. That's the problem. Ricciardo's too good that he's priced himself out of a move, but he's been too poor in the last 2 seasons to make it worth any big team going
and
for him.
It's not. I love Daniel Ricciardo with my whole heart.
But could he take a pay cut? Could he take a pay cut and go to Haas?
Maybe. I mean, I'd like that. That'd be cool.
Ricciardo and Magnussen dragging that Haas up
together again.
Again?
Renault.
That was Ricciardo and Hulkenberg.
Oh, that's
We've just been off game.
I just love Nico Hulkenberg so much.
Hulkenberg could go and become Haas's test and reserve driver. and then you get all three of them.
They'll win that Pietro, Fittipaldi.
Well, they should pick someone else then. Anyone else? Have Haas had anyone else in the car this year?
No.
I don't think they have they? So they've still got 2 spots left for young drivers. Be interesting to see who they put in that car.
Danny Ricciardo. Right, Daniel, got to come to FP1 and a half.
Yeah, Williams still got one as well. I imagine
Sargent.
that'll go to Logan Sargent, which is going to also be very useful for getting his
he's
super license.
He's going to America. And...
Oh yeah. So he will get a go in the car then before his potential promotion.
If he never slaps that car in 10th in FP1.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if he can't do well in Abu Dhabi.
He will win it.
Wow.
Dragovic has still got a point to prove. No,
Imagine though the Carlin blows up and costs Sargent a chance at Formula 1.
I'll find Trevor Carlin. And I'll have
That's not his fault, is it?
Oh, it's his
It's
name.
the Mechachrome engine, isn't it?
It's like something goes wrong with Facebook. You don't look at the people who made Facebook, you look at Mark Zuckerberg.
Hey, who made Facebook?
No, I mean like the technicians who work behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah, but the point, it's not the car. Okay, sure. So Alpine, if you're the Alpine team boss, who'd you put in that seat alongside Esteban Ocon? For me, it's very obvious, and it's not Nick De Vries.
You just buy.
I'm not biased. Jack Doohan deserves the shot. They've seen what happened with Oscar Piastri.
He tore it up this season.
He has. It's his first season. He's been let down massively by his Mechachrome engine.
And then Hulkenberg, and then
Alpine.
And then Ricciardo to Matt Haas. I think De Vries in the Alpine, Sargent in the Williams.
I will go Doohan Alpine, Gasly Williams. No, that would be fun though. I wish that happened.
No, I don't.
De Vries Williams, and then
Gasly stays in AlphaTauri.
Gasly stays AlphaTauri, and for Haas, who cares? No, probably Nico Hulkenberg, isn't it? Which is a bit. Or no, actually, I'll go Antonio Giovinazzi. I think I'll get that seat
I
back.
think that's more dull.
What, than Hulkenberg?
Yeah.
Hulkenberg's been in Formula 1 for literally a decade and he's not scored a podium.
And he's cool.
Okay, well, that solved that one then. He's cool.
That would be a piss around. Ricciardo and Hulkenberg together again.
It's not going to be Ricciardo.
I want it to be Ricciardo.
Magnussen just got binned off despite doing nothing wrong.
I just want it to be Ricciardo.
Okay, well, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get anything for a good few months now. I don't in terms of driver news. Williams, I mean, Alpine's got talent at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, actually.
Well, everyone's going along for a test. They've got about 100 drivers going along to have a go in the car. Whoever sets the fastest lap time gets to keep it. So that's going to be exciting. I was going to say, throw my name in the hat.
In ring.
Yeah. Yeah, hat in the ring, isn't it? Not name in the hat. It should be name in the hat, though. But yeah, be interesting to see who gets those seats. But as I say, I don't think we'll see anything now until Abu Dhabi sort of time, because there's still the F2 Championship to conclude. You never know, Dragovic could get disqualified, mate.
Dragovic has won it already.
No, but if Sargent falls outside the top 6,
all right, yeah, we know.
Contention,
It's like
mate.
you want him to.
I tell you, Jack Doohan's nailed on in F1 next year.
Fine.
And then Teo Pourchaire. Do you think he's got a chance at an F1 seat?
No.
But Logan Sargent is better, is he?
I think Sargent are better than Porsche this year.
Interesting. And then there is one more seat, isn't there? Alfa Romeo. Presumably we're both going, Zhou will keep that.
100, he's had a fantastic season.
He's done well, better than the last few rookies' first seasons, like
If
Tsunoda,
that car had
Schumacher,
blown
and
up on him
Mazepin.
so many times, he'd have so many more points.
I mean, obviously not comparable to like Albon, Norris, Leclerc, but
No,
still,
different.
yeah, decent campaign from Zhou, and I think he deserves that seat next season. But yeah, that is all for today. Make sure to get involved. Comments down below who you think should get those seats, who you think will get those seats, because there's probably a difference between should and will, because often we see drivers that have a bit of cash get those seats over drivers that deserve it. Though I don't think Latifi's going to be sticking around. Sad to see him go, but he was never good enough, really.
So long, Nicholas.
Yeah. See ya, Nico,
Bon
Latifi.
voyage.
But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.